types of white blood cells in the body. Anytime you go to see your family doctor, I don't know, for regular checkup, you can see these strange names in your blood work. I've listed already in here for you. Neutrophils, they make 62% of white blood cells in your body average. Lymphocytes are 30%, monocytes 5.3%, eosinophils are 2.3%, basophils 0.3%, and 0.1% we call them others, such as plasma cells. Okay, but let's see if you had exposure to any virus or bacteria and you have the offending agent in the body, how your immune system is gonna basically protect you. I put in here already for you lines of defense. It is interesting that your immune system basically is going to have a different layers of defense system against bacterial infection, viral infection, or any kind of inflammation. I'm gonna put in here number one. The first line of defense against any viral, bacterial infection is, I'm gonna put in here, tissue macrophages. Okay? Macrophages are a kind of white blood cells. Then you ask yourself, well, macrophages, how come they are not in the list in here? Because macrophages are in the stage product of monocytes. Monocytes are white blood cells in the blood circulation, but definitely when monocytes, they leave the blood and basically they go into different tissues in the brain, in the liver, in the heart, in the lung, then we're gonna name them macrophages. So macrophages are sort of transformed monocytes that they locate in tissues. Within a few minutes of any viral infection or bacterial infection, tissue macrophages that they are already in the affected area, they're gonna start doing their job. Their job is something in medicine, I'm gonna put in here, we call it phagocytosis. This is a medical term. That means they're gonna eat up the offending agent. The first line of defense is tissue macrophages that they are already in the area. Their function is very important to save someone's life. Then your immune system is gonna develop the second line of defense. Here's the second line of defense. Neutrophil invasion. Okay, see, these white blood cells or neutrophils that they are basically circulating in the blood, they're gonna rush to the affected area to help macrophages. Usually neutrophil invasion starts in 1 hour or so. Then while neutrophils and tissue macrophages, they are fighting the infection, then comes third line of defense. Third line of defense is, I'm gonna put in here, these monocyte, I'm gonna put in here monocyte invasions. While tissue macrophages and neutrophils in the area, they are fighting with the infections, more monocytes from the blood circulation, they're gonna rush to the area to convert to tissue macrophages to eat up the offending basically agent. Doesn't matter, it's virus or bacteria. While those white blood cells, they're fighting infection in your body, then we have here fourth line of defense. Fourth line of defense is this. Your bone marrow is going to increase the production of white blood cells. So I'm going to put in here, fourth line of defense is increased production of different white blood cells by bone marrow. Okay? Usually for the bone marrow, it takes 3 to 4 days to generate.
New messages received from Leslie McGill in my build.
And also, it is interesting to know that your bone marrow can increase the production of white blood cells 20 to 50 times more than normal, depends how serious the situation is. So now you know the 5 major components of your immune system and the four lines of defense basically against any viral infection. First, tissue macrophages, what they can start in a few minutes. Then we have all the neutrophil invasions, and then third line of defense is monocyte invasions. Monocyte are the white blood cells that they can rush to the area to transform to macrophages to fight the infection. And then finally, fourth line of defense, which is bone marrow is going to come into play to produce more white blood cells. Now you know how your immune system functions to protect you against any viral, bacterial infections or in general any inflammations. Let's go to part 3, general precautions to reduce the risk of coronavirus infection. Here are 5 general precautions that basically you could take to decrease the risk of any viral infections, including coronavirus infection. These 5 general precautions comes from World Health Organization, and I have put them on the board already for you. Number 1 is this: clean and wash your hands with water and basically soap or any alcohol based solutions. And number 2, cover your nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing. You could do this using a mask, a tissue, and even your elbow. Number 3, avoid close contact with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. Number 4, cook meats and eggs thoroughly. Avoid having undercooked any meats and eggs. And number 5, avoid unprotected contact with live, wild, and farm animals such as chickens, birds, even pigs. As I said, these 5 general precautions come from World Health Organization. Now let's go to the last part: how we can boost your immune system against any viral infection. A few minutes ago, I showed you the 4 lines of defense by your immune system against any viral infections, including coronavirus. I have put them on the board already for you one more time. The first line of defense is tissue macrophages. The second line of defense is a neutrophil invasion. The third line of defense is monocyte invasion. And the fourth line of defense is increased production of white blood cells by the bone marrow. Right now I'm going to show you how, by following the rule of 10, you can boost the function of every single line of defense by your immune system. Let's see what are those 10 important things that you could do and you should do. Okay, number 1 is rest. Definitely, this is the must for any sick people. Number 2, you can have lots of warm liquids. Okay, those are the basically 2 general guidance, for any sick people. To boost the function of tissue macrophages, remember tissue macrophages, they do the first line of defense. Remember, those white blood cells, tissue macrophages, neutrophil, monocytes, or other white blood cells, they are live, basically, organs, and they need nutrients to function better. It is interesting to know that tissue macrophages, they need two important nutrients to fight infection. The most important nutrient required by tissue macrophages is vitamin D. Probably vitamin D is the most important nutrient in general for immune system. So tissue macrophages, they need lots of vitamin D to do better job to fight viral infections, including coronavirus. And in here, we're gonna need a little bit higher dose of vitamin D, and you can go with somewhere around 10,000 IU a day. And if you are traveling to those areas that basically they have been affected with those coronavirus infection, what I suggest is this: if it's possible, you could go with vitamin D injections. Vitamin injections come in different forms: 300,000 IU, 400,000, and even 600,000 IU. Imagine we are traveling to China, and now you can have one vitamin D shot. Then you don't have to take 10,000 IU a day. And if you don't have access to vitamin D injections, definitely you can load up on your vitamin D in pill form or in the form of drops, 10,000 IU a day. The second important nutrient that tissue macrophages they need to fight infection is zinc. Definitely you have to provide enough zinc to your body to help tissue macrophages. Zinc, you're gonna need about 50 to 100 milligrams a day. Now let's go to the second line of defense. How are we going to boost the function of neutrophils? Because neutrophils are the one basically are responsible for the second line of defense. To boost the function of neutrophils, you need to do three important things. I'm going to put in here. One of the most important things you could do to boost the function of neutrophil is this: avoid sugars. Okay? Remember, sugars and sweets, any refined carbohydrates, they lower the function of neutrophils. Remember, neutrophils, they make 62% of your white blood cells. So if you're having lots of sugars and sweets, I'm afraid you're gonna weaken the neutrophils. By avoiding any sugars and sweets, definitely you are giving a big boost to neutrophils to function better. Again, neutrophils, to fight infection, they need a unique nutrient, and I'm sure you have heard about it: vitamin C. Yes, vitamin C can boost the function of neutrophils to fight any inflammation, any viral infection, any bacterial infection. Okay, so in here, you're gonna need vitamin C a little bit higher doses. I'm gonna put in here, you need 3,000 milligrams a day. You need another nutrient to boost the function of a neutrophil. Actually, the nutrient I'm gonna put in here is flavonoid. Okay, flavonoids. Flavonoids, they are phytonutrients. Basically, they are nutrients that they are extracted from plants. Flavonoids, they enhance the function of vitamin C, and vitamin C is going to enhance the function of neutrophils. So if you are going to take vitamin C for any viral infection or bacterial infection, definitely we suggest you mix it with flavonoids. And flavonoids, you can take anywhere over 200 milligrams a day. Now, how are we going to boost the function of monocyte invasion? You remember from the beginning of this basically topic that monocytes are basically, they go to the infected area, they transform to tissue macrophages. So to boost the function of monocyte, definitely you need vitamin D, which is already there. Okay? Now, how are we going to boost the function of bone marrow to produce more white blood cells? Remember, Increased production of white blood cells by your bone marrow is the fourth line of defense. Your bone marrow is gonna need actually 3 key nutrients to produce more white blood cells. What are those 3 nutrients? Vitamin A. Yes, your bone marrow is gonna need lots of vitamin A during those times that you are sick to produce more white blood cells. And you can take vitamin A anywhere between 10,000 to 20,000 IU per day. The second nutrient that the bone marrow is gonna need to produce more white blood cells is vitamin E. You can go definitely with 800 IU a day, and you need another nutrient, to support the body, to support the bone marrow to produce more white blood cells is vitamin B6. And you can go vitamin B6 with 100,000 milligrams a day. The doses that I suggested in here, they are for adults and for children. The doses definitely, they have to be adjusted. Now you know how you can boost your immune system, how you can boost every single line of defense mechanism of your immune system against any viral infection. I really hope that you learned something interesting today, because we make science easy to understand. Now you know. If you don't want to miss our videos that we post on a regular basis on the CSSN channel, you can subscribe to the CSSN channel on YouTube. To support us, you can share, like, or comment on this video.